This question comes from Leo, who wrote, "My friend and I were arguing after we saw a news segment about a small country adopting Bitcoin. He joked that the next logical step would be a country adopting a meme coin, like Dogecoin. We laughed, but it got me thinking, what would actually happen if a small nation, let's call it the Republic of Sylvania, officially declared a Memecoin as its sole legal tender? Believe it or not, the initial effect might be surprisingly positive. Let's say Sylvania announces that Dogecoin is now its national currency. Overnight, the tiny nation would become the center of global attention. News outlets from every corner of the world would be talking about it. Tourism would skyrocket. Internet enthusiasts and crypto millionaires would flock to Sylvanian cafes, eager to be the first to buy a coffee with literal Dogecoin. The value of the coin would likely pump, driven by this unprecedented demand and the sheer power of the meme. For a brief, glorious moment, the Sylvanian treasury would see its reserves balloon. The government would be hailed as visionary by its citizens. The Prime Minister would probably get a new profile picture featuring the Doge mascot. But this is where the problems start. The first and most immediate issue is price stability. You need to be reasonably sure that the money you get paid on Monday can buy the same amount of bread on Friday. Memecoins are the exact opposite of stable. Their value is driven almost entirely by sentiment, hype, and online chatter. So imagine a Sylvanian construction worker named January. He gets paid 1,000 Dogecoins on Friday, which is enough to buy his family a nice dinner. But over the weekend, a famous influencer makes a joke about the coin, or a whale decides to cash out. By Monday, his 1,000 Dogecoins might only buy a loaf of bread. His entire salary wiped out by a tweet. This hyper-volatility would make long-term contracts, loans, and business planning impossible. Why would a company build a factory in Sylvania if its investment could lose half its value before the factory is even finished? Then there's the practical problem of transactions. While crypto payments exist, they are not nearly as fast or seamless as swiping a debit card. The line at the grocery store would grind to a halt as everyone waits for block confirmations. "I'm sorry, ma'am, your payment for milk is still pending. Would you like to wait 6 more minutes?" And what about people who don't understand crypto? The elderly, the less tech-savvy. They would be completely locked out of the economy, unable to buy or sell anything. The government's attempt to distribute pensions in Dogecoin would be a logistical and social nightmare. Now, let's consider the international perspective. Other countries and global institutions like the IMF would be horrified. Sylvania's national debt, now denominated in a Memecoin, would be seen as the riskiest asset on the planet. No one would lend to them. International trade would seize up. What would Sylvania use to pay for imported oil, medicine, or machinery? They can't just print more of another country's currency. They'd have to first sell their Dogecoin for a stable currency. The nation would become an economic pariah, isolated from the global financial system. And finally, we have the problem of governance. The monetary policy would no longer be set by its central bank, but by a decentralized network of anonymous miners and, more importantly, by the whims of social media. The value of every Sylvanian's life savings would be at the mercy of a viral TikTok trend. It would be like trying to steer a ship where the rudder is controlled by a random number generator. So, while the idea of a country powered by a friendly Shiba Inu seems fun and rebellious, the reality would be a swift descent into economic chaos. The Republic of Sylvania would learn a very hard, very expensive lesson. That there's a vast cosmic canyon between a fun internet joke and the foundations of a stable national economy. In the end, a currency needs to be boring. And a Memecoin, by its very nature, is anything but.